on this episode of the Girl Talk Podcast.
If we either think we have to do it 100% all or we can't do it at all. And it's so disheartening because we can't do all. So then we go back to nothing. So challenge yourself in any kind of goal you set, any time trying to get back on track. Challenge yourself from that all or nothing mentality.
You're listening to the Girl Talk Podcast. My name is Carol.
I'm Kelly.
Hey, I'm Tricia.
And we would like to say a very special thank you to Compassion International for sponsoring this season of the Girl Talk Podcast. They're releasing children from poverty in Jesus' name, and we're looking for a sponsor for Misty from Bangladesh. Her birthday's August 6th, 2017. If you're interested in finding out more about Misty and her life and how Compassion's helping her or can help her through you, all you have to do is go to compassion.com/Girl Talk and search for Misty. Now, today we're going to be talking about how to get back on track because we all know school's starting back. It's a good time to kind of reevaluate where you are, where you want to be, and how to finish up the year. Why are you laughing at me?
Well, because I was thinking about like being off track, and I was thinking about a roller coaster and about how summertime is like a big old roller coaster, and sometimes you have these great big highs and lows, and then there's those little corkscrews.
For
Find yourself
Make you
hanging upside
nauseous.
down. Yeah. So I just want to get back on track, but not that track.
Okay.
I want to get back on track like an easy,
like the monorail.
yes, like the monorail.
It's a small world.
That kind of track, not the roller coaster track that I'm on over the summer.
So get that. So what about you gals? How do you get back into the swing of things as school starts? I mean, we still all have school-age kids, so part of that is just the schedule that comes back into play after you've had the lazy, hazy days of summer.
Oh, I love it. I tell you, I am having the hardest time getting up and coming to work. I love my job. I love it every single day, but I really love it better when it starts at 9 a.m. and not 8 a.m. And I would imagine you, Carol, with your starting at 5 a.m., would love it even more if it started at 8 a.m. some days.
I don't know. My body's kind of on that schedule now because even on the weekends I wake up that early.
Wow.
So
yeah. Getting up early is tough. And so,
but you know what?
Setting that alarm clock.
Here's the thing.
Multiple alarm
Getting
clocks.
up early has its advantages. You don't have all the noise that you have. Like when the whole world starts at 8, you don't have the noise at 4 o'clock.
No
in the
traffic
morning.
either.
Like this morning, I was coming into work and there was like road construction going on, and it took me 5-10 minutes extra to get to work. And I was like, I am so glad that road construction people are up when I am. I mean, it just made my day. Most of the people were not having a positive experience with it, but for me, I was like, this is cool. So thank you.
Early morning
That's
friend.
right. I felt good for the guy who was standing there holding the stop sign for a very long time. But
I mean,
I digress.
I think one of the other things that we can do is try really hard in the summer times not to get off track. Or use that as an opportunity to start your healthy habits. That's what I'm doing. I'm starting a workout club.
Yeah.
So I'm staying on track by doing new things and doing fun things. And having
friends.
Yes, with friends. Yeah. And then so I want to stay on that same track when we get back into the busyness of life.
So I'm interested to know from both of you, do you take time out during the year to kind of reevaluate? Do you do that quarterly, yearly? Do you look back and say, this is where I wanted to be, this is where I am, this is...
I do. I think there are times in the year that it's just natural to do that. One of those is the beginning of the year. Sure. Another is the beginning of a school year because I have school-age kids. So, yes, it's kind of like okay, what do we want differently from this year than we had last year? And so it's kind of a fresh start idea in the middle of the year. But it's just... This year is particularly hard because I've got a senior. And so it's his senior year, and I almost don't want this year to start. So I'm kind of dragging my heels and pretending like, la, 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 it's not really happening.
Right.
So I'm kind of struggling to get started this year.
What kind of helps you guys? Do you do the evaluation?
No, I think it's lovely that y'all do the evaluation, but I'm like, we're just going to keep on trucking. We're just going to put up these little blinders, and we're just going to keep on going as fast as we can go. And I'm not going to look to the left or the right because then I'm going to.
Well, I have to tell you though.
I know it'd be great.
I almost have
it would be so therapeutic.
Okay. So a couple of years ago, I started using this one in particular planner. I'm not going to tell you which one it is because I don't want to endorse that planner because they're not paying me. So I'm not going to tell you which one it is. But it's a quarterly planner. So you have 3 months at a time. Mm-hmm. And it makes you set goals for those 3 months. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if you're anything like me, but to set a goal for an entire year sometimes seems overwhelming. I'm like, I don't even know. And if it hadn't worked, I wouldn't tell you about it, but it has so with me. And I'll tell you why I know this, because starting in July, I started a new planner, of course, because it was the new quarter, right? Mm-hmm. And I had kind of fallen off the train on my exercise. I had a couple of days where I wasn't feeling all that great, and so I didn't exercise because I was afraid I was getting sick. And then it's harder to get back into it, right? Mm-hmm. And then you start eating unhealthy. I mean, the dominoes start falling. Well, I started a new planner, and I looked back at the goals that I had for the year, and I had to write them down again. And it was almost like a recommitment to those goals to say, okay, this is where I want to be come December 31st of this year, and how am I going to get there? It's going to be one day at a time, doing the right things, eating the right things, making the right decisions. And so that's really helped me to kind of reevaluate. I also read recently, and I haven't done this yet, but I this is going to be a part of my plan. They say that you should take part of your summer vacation, whether that be, if you go to the beach or if you do a staycation at home or whatever it looks like for you, set aside 3 or 4 hours that you can just sit and think in the quiet and think about where you want to be this time at the end of the year.
Okay.
I could do that.
Yeah.
But I like do that. I like the idea of that, because that is not, you're not already in it and trying to kind of go backwards.
Right.
You're doing it when you're relaxed. You're doing it when you can dream.
And they say that is the key to it. Because if you're just like normal everyday working life and you're trying to find 3 hours, well, good luck with that.
Yeah.
But you're relaxed. You're more apt to think creatively when you're on vacation and away from the normal noise of life. So take that time to reevaluate and just think. I mean, I think everybody could probably come up with some hopes and dreams that they couldn't at their normal 9 to 5 when they're sitting on the beach with their toes in the sand. Just my opinion, but take it for what it's worth. Yeah. So I'm going to try that out and see if that is effective for me. But for me, it's been the 3-month planner, because I can do 3 months at a time. And then if you look back, it also requires that you look back on the last 3 months and record the results of what you wanted your goals to be in this current planner. So you see how far you've come. Mm-hmm. Like one of my goals is to work out 45 times per quarter. Okay? So if you break that down, can you all do the math?
No, I don't do math.
That's 15 times per month.
Okay.
Which 15 times per month.
That's every other day.
Every other day. Okay, if you break that down into 4 weeks, that's basically 3 days a week. A little more than that.
Okay. Yeah.
Which is so totally doable, right? Yeah. But if you said to me, I'm going to work out, let's see, that would be 180 times this year. That's overwhelming. I can't do that.
Yeah.
But if you break it down into quarters, then small chunks. You can totally do it. I'll tell you another book. If you struggle with this, I've said this before on the podcast, and I know people get sick of hearing me say it. But if you haven't read Atomic Habits by James Clear, you need to read that book. It helped me so much in setting myself up for success. Mm. It just gives you little tips and tricks and things that you can do. And I've told you, Tricia, before, because you were really instrumental in my life and get me started on the workout and the exercise mentality. But he says you could do one thing at the end of your work day when you get home that could set you up for success. You know what my one thing is? Putting on my tennis shoes. Because if I put on my tennis shoes, I'm going to exercise.
Yeah.
If I go home and I sit around and I I might take a nap or I'll watch TV. If I do any other thing than put on my tennis shoes, I won't exercise. But if my tennis shoes going on, it's 100% of the time I will work out.
So smart to know that. So smart. That takes time to figure that out.
Sure.
That's so smart.
Yeah, I like that, because I don't really like to have my tennis shoes on.
You don't?
No. So, I much prefer to be barefoot. Or have socks on in the house. So if I've put on my tennis shoes,
you're going to work out.
I want to take my tennis shoes off. And the only way to take my tennis shoes off is to actually do the workout. Follow through on, and then I can take my tennis shoes off.
Right.
Again, knowing yourself is so important for stuff like that. Really taking time to figure out what are the things that will work for you. And sometimes you try something, it doesn't work. You try something else. Oh, maybe. And it takes time to do that. Give yourself grace as you're trying to figure out what works for you.
And I will say that you were also instrumental in helping me to figure out what works for me. If you got a friend who can work alongside, because I don't know that. I mean, I'd always exercised in some form or fashion, but it often came in like inconsistent spurts. I would go through a stage, or I'd sign up for a 5K and think,
all or nothing.
I don't want to die, so I'm going to start some kind of program, and then I would do the 5K, and that would be it, right?
Yeah.
The consistency piece came for me when I started paying attention to how I felt. How does exercise make you feel when you're done? And we can. I think everybody who's ever exercised in the history of the world can say, when you get to the end of that exercise, there's nothing like that feeling. And you feel better. Your mind feels clearer. Your body feels better. I mean, you may be a little sore. Can I confess, this is probably weird, and this is probably TMI, but I love in the morning when I get up, if I've worked out the day before, feeling a little bit sore.
Oh, yeah.
Like, totally. Yeah. I'm like,
it's a badge of honor.
I've done something, right?
Oh, yeah.
So
that was totally me this morning. I did sit-ups yesterday, and I woke up this morning, my abs are hurting.
Yeah.
And I was like,
I have abs.
You did something.
I have muscles underneath there somewhere, and they're painful today. So, all right, this is good.
I like sweat.
Yeah, I do.
I feel so good if I'm sweaty.
But every like, you are a pretty sweater.
I am not.
Yes, you are.
No, it does a little smiley face on my belly.
See,
belly sweat.
Okay, here's the thing that you know that a couple years ago, it's been a couple years now, I think, when we did the belly sweat pictures.
Yeah, I think so.
Or was it COVID?
Last summer, maybe.
Was it? Okay, well, one year we Tricia sent us a picture of her, and her little belly. She didn't even have a little belly, but her little belly was making a little smiley face there. Mine looked like a whale had exploded.
That's not true.
It did.
No, it was so like a Rorschach test, though, because mine did go in a smiley kind of thing. Yours was more like an
Mine was angry. Mine was angry.
We're laughing at it.
But we did that a couple years ago because we're weird like that.
Yeah.
But
you are.
I know. We definitely are.
Send us your belly sweat.
That's right.
We'd love to see it.
We had like a contest going for a while. Yeah. It wasn't like the belly. We didn't send pictures of our belly. We sent pictures of our shirt.
Your shirt.
The sweaty shirt.
I guess.
Summer shirts.
I guess pictures are great. Just don't bring the smell.
Yeah.
That's true.
I do like to sweat, but I'm an ugly sweater, so I sweat like a dog.
Yeah.
And by that I mean like the hair on top doesn't sweat. It's the under hair. I call it my undercoat, and like it can be soaking wet, and my hair on the outside looks funny, and you're looking like, and I'm like totally.
That's so funny.
Chewy.
The only place I really have the sweat is on my face, and so it's like lots and lots of sweat on my face, not my head, not even my
just
belly,
your face.
just my face, and it gets like this purpley red color. It's like awful. It's so splotchy, but so I know that I've done things.
That's a good sign.
I was on the stairway to nowhere the other day, and this older lady, quite a bit older than me, I would guess, she brought me a paper towel because evidently I was slinging sweat on everybody that was.
That's gross.
So, yeah,
3D workout.
I think we totally have gotten off track. We need to get back on track.
Well, that's the point of the whole podcast, isn't it? How do you get back on track?
Yeah,
if you
we
go
don't
down
know, obviously.
the sweat road.
But if you need to get off track, we're your people.
Yeah.
So planners. We've said planners.
Yeah. Gets me.
Yep, that was good.
I think more than just the planner. I think setting short-term goals.
Yes, short-term goals. And having that headspace.
Break it and writing them down.
Yes, so good.
100% write them down.
And let me say, there is something that is very detrimental that all of us tend to do from time to time, and it's all or nothing thinking. And that's one of the reasons why your goals have been successful, because you're moving away from the all or nothing. Like you talked about doing the 5K. Sometimes we think, okay, I'm going to start exercising and I'm going to do it 5 days or 6 days a week. It's not sustainable. And we do it with our eating. We do it with all kinds of things. It's all, if we either think we have to do it 100% all, or we can't do it at all. And it's so disheartening because we can't do all. So then we go back to nothing. So challenge yourself in any kind of goal you set, any time trying to get back on track, challenge yourself from that all or nothing mentality.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a little.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just for today. Maybe it's 2 times a week. Whatever it is, challenge yourself if you find yourself lapsing into that all or nothing mentality.
I love that. I thought about that when you were talking about, I'm going to exercise 45 times this quarter.
Yeah.
I said, all right, well, I'd make myself a checklist, and as soon as I got to 45, I'm done. So I'm going to do it every single day for 45 days in a row. And then, I don't have to do anything for a month and a half. Like, that's not the point.
Right.
Yeah. The point is,
finding
breaking those
sustainable.
down in small points. And if you don't have any, if you're not doing anything, start somewhere. And it doesn't have to just be with your exercise. It could be with sitting down and journaling, or that quiet time you were talking about sitting down and reflection on your time. Just start with 15 minutes of sitting in reflection.
Let me give you a little advice, because I've learned this so far. Start with 3 minutes. Because 15 minutes of silence can seem overwhelming when you've not done it. And I was reading a book, and they said, don't start with 15 minutes. Start with 3 minutes. Set your timer and say, I'm just going to sit here for 3 minutes. And then once that 3 minutes is up, go, you know what? I think I could go another 3 minutes. So go another 3 minutes. And before you know it, you've gone the full 15 minutes, but you've taken the pressure off yourself to have that full 15 minutes. Yeah. And I would say give yourself permission to start over. When you realize that you're not where you wanted to be, you know what? Today is a great day to start again. Whether that be your eating patterns, your exercise patterns, your thought patterns, today is a great day to start again, and it's never too late. I used to fool myself to say it. You know, when I turned 50, I was like, oh, after 50, I don't know if doesn't it make a difference? It doesn't make a difference, you know. And I was lucky enough to have people in my life who were like, yeah, it does make a difference. Now I exercise more for the feeling and the mental part of it than I do the physical. I mean, honestly, I'm not in I'm never going to win a swimsuit modeling contest. I'm just not, because I'm not built that way, and that's okay. And so I do it more for the feeling that I get and how it makes me feel in my headspace than how I look in a bathing suit.
Yeah, because that's not the right motivation.
No.
How you look is not the right motivation. It's got to be.
And it's out of your control.
Scale.
Those things are out of your control.
Yeah.
But when you take those healthy steps to feel good, that's in your control.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to put you on the spot here.
Okay.
What do you want to be different this fall?
Well, I want 2 things.
Okay. You can have 2 things.
Can I have 2 things?
You can have 2 things.
Okay. So the first is related to this exercise thing.
Okay.
You know, I started this club.
Yeah.
And so I'm
spending
time.
Like so much fun.
Oh, it's so much fun. It's
so
with my friend.
glad.
I'm doing it with some friends, and it's so good.
Yeah.
And sweaty and, you know, challenging and all the things. And there's music. And so who doesn't love all of that?
Yeah.
And it's outside. Anyway, I want to keep doing that.
I love that part.
Yeah, I want to keep doing that.
Okay.
But then the second thing is just in response to this whole idea of the reflection. I want to take some time to reflect. I'm going on vacation actually next week, and the week after that, I'm taking 2 weeks off in a row. There's some good time there for reflection.
Yes, for sure.
I'm gonna spend some time reflecting, and then at least 3 months from now, so it's just sometime this fall, I want to reflect on my reflections and reflect on my goals in the last 3 months.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. You've inspired me. So you're going to have to whisper the name of that planner in my ear when we're off air.
I certainly will.
Okay.
Very good.
Actually,
Very
I'll
good.
give you a discount code.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. I want 2 things too then, please. Can I have 2 things?
Yes,
okay.
you can have 2.
Okay. One is more practical and the other is just more experiential. So the practical one is really I want to start my days off right. And in summer, it's a lot easier for me to get up, spend time reading my Bible, spend time in prayer, walk the dog, do the things, and then come to work because I don't have to take the kids to school and there's not as much traffic and there's not as much pressure. And so I do that real well in the summer. But once you add that school to the mix, my days can get I try to sleep in a little bit more, or I shortchange myself. I don't get up and read the Bible, and then I'm in a bad mood, or I get frustrated at the traffic or the people. And so I want to really work on starting my day off right, because when you start your day off right, you have a lot better opportunities to have a good day overall.
That's right.
So starting it off in prayer, starting it off with relaxation, not giving in to that, ooh, if I could get 15 more minutes sleep, because that's not going to end up being the best thing for me. So really focusing on the start of the day, and then the other piece that is a little less practical is being present in the moments, and that is particularly important to me because my son is starting his senior year, and then I have my other son is starting his freshman year. So I don't want to miss these days. I don't want to miss these opportunities. I want to be present. I want to be not thinking about the next thing always, but I want to make sure that I carve out time to enjoy my family.
Yeah. So
Yeah. Okay.
good.
All
right. What about you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Please.
Okay. So my one big one is I want to be practicing Sabbath regularly. A 24-hour time period where I'm away from devices, I'm away from TV, I'm away from noise, even music. I want to be doing that regularly. This fall. The other thing is I want to continue to better my physical body so that I can be healthier to do what God's called me to do.
Yeah.
Because I think that for me has been a big conviction lately. Like if God called me to move to, Zimbabwe tomorrow, and to walk 14 miles a day, I don't know I could do that.
Yeah.
So I want to be physically healthy and in a place where I can do what God's called me to do. Because sometimes that limits us. And so I don't mean for that to sound super spiritual, but I really want to stay on that path. And I'm a big emotional eater, and I'm understanding a little more just through some study and through some counseling, and I'm kind of uncovering the roots of that, and I want to continue to work on that, and I think that's part of the motivation to try to want to stay in that place of moving my body and making sure my mind is healthy. So those are my two things, and we'd love to hear your two things.
Yes, we would.
All you got to do is email us at girltalk@thelightfm.org. We always do a happy dance whenever you get in touch, or you can check in on the Facebook page, the Girlfriends page, wherever you want to get in touch. We love it when you reach out. And we love you being a part of this community. I want to tell you about Misty, who's from Bangladesh. She needs a sponsor right now, and you can do that through Compassion International. They are releasing children from poverty in Jesus' name, and you can be a part of changing Misty's life. She was born August the 6th of 2017. If that date is special to you, maybe you want to go check out more details about Misty and her life and how you can be a part of releasing her from poverty in Jesus' name. All you got to do is go to compassion.com/Girl Talk to find Misty. And we'll see you next time we gather around these microphones for the next Girl Talk podcast.